Well, hello everybody, time once again for some more Guild Wars 2. This is a follow-up to the World vs. World Beginner's Comprehensive Guide I made last time for pretty much how to understand the basics of World vs. World. This video is going to go a little bit more in-depth and detail into specific builds. There's a lot of options in World vs. World, and of course, no one video can encompass all of it. So right now we're going to focus on the roamer, the solo play aesthetic. At some point in the future, if given the opportunity, I'll take a video with a squad and I'll show how to command and all the different squad applications and builds. But for now, we're going to stick to solo builds. So as you can see, we're on silicon dioxides. This is my mini engineer, and right now I'm running what is called a meme build. It is based upon having as many golems out as possible. That's all it does. It is not a good build. I do not recommend playing this build. However, it does showcase exactly what is possible with a straight-up PvE build in World vs. World. I'm running full Berserker's gear. If you're not familiar with how to select customizable gear or how to change your gear, you bring up this tab here, and you can see on the right-hand side you have all of these different variants to go off of. The most common you'll see in World vs. World are going to be Berserkers, Marauders, Dragons, Celestial, and I believe, I don't ever play condition builds, but I believe it's Vipers. I don't know. I do have one of my guildies in here with me. If she knows what it is, she can more than...
it is indeed Vipers.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember exactly what the conditioned one is, because I never play conditions. But anyways, so we're on a very typical PvE damage style build for Engineer. It's focusing purely on rifle, purely on the mechanist specialization, and it's about doing as much damage as possible in as short a period of time as possible. This is what would be known as an assassin build as a roamer. My whole job is to kill the opponent before they even get a chance to do anything back. So I have Plumeria Larkspur here, member of my guild. We are in the guild arena, or the guild hall arena, which you can see here, which allows us to actually fight one another as though we're on different teams. So this will give us the opportunity to showcase that. So with any type of roamer build, you're going to have three major applications. You're going to have Assassin, which is this build. You're going to have like a Bruiser build, which I'll showcase eventually on my Scrapper. And then you're going to have like a Celestial survivable, like high survivability, like just outlast your opponent's build. So for now, we're going to stick with this one, which is all Berserkers. I've got a couple pieces of Dragon, which adds a little bit more vitality, just because what I had laying around. But to showcase it, so let's say you're trying to take a camp or something like that, and you see an opposing player, or you're just out in the open, right? You can mark them with Control-T like I just did. And for a build like this, you're going to come in from a distance because it's all about being ranged. I'm going to use the 3 skill to lock them down, Rifle 5 and Rifle 2. And it's all about that huge DPS push initially, right? And then maintaining distance. As you can see, she didn't last very long. Sorry.
Ouch.
But once she gets back in here, for this one, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to ask her to fight back, and I'm going to showcase some of the struggles that a build like this has. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so go ahead. So now, my struggle is I have to remain alive. But as you can see, the damage output is still enough where I can do a high amount of damage. That's the whole point of an assassin build. Is I'm using, for this one specifically, I'm using the 3 different golems I have to distract my opponent to make sure I can do as much damage as possible while my golems are doing the same. I have escapes such as my shift signet, which I'm highlighting here in the bottom, and my rocket boots. Now, you'll notice that the 1 through 5 set on the left-hand side are normal, but on the right-hand side, it goes 6, and well, it should go 7, 8, 9. It doesn't do that anymore. Now it's QER. I have used the options under control options to rebind these keys to ones that are near where my left hand would be resting on the keyboard, which is Q, E, and R. And then I have my elite skill set to caps lock. That means I'm not having to reach across the keyboard to use those abilities. I'm not having to hunt and peck. And I'm not a good typist. The other aspect of an assassin build is knowing your surroundings. So in the arena, I put these little things in here to kind of create space, right? So if you want to come at me real quick, so I see this opponent player coming at me, I can dodge around the side, right? I'm using this to create cover. I'm letting my golems do the work, right? They're having to blink and stuff like that. I can do the same thing, come at them from a different angle. As you see, and then just kind of utilizing terrain. For some classes or professions, like warrior, absolutely key. You have to be able to utilize terrain. So like here we have like a little canyon setup I've made, and over here you've got like these 3 different pillars. So if you want to come at me again, right? I can utilize these pillars to try to keep out of line of sight, right? Now on an assassin build, I'm going to fundamentally try to keep my opponent from hitting me with any of their key abilities. And if they do, I'm going to try to get away. But I'm also going to utilize some of my different skill sets to keep them busy and occupied, and also get them to burn their rotation before I do. Because as you can see, like that one, I didn't have to use any rotation at all. Oh, darn Mesmers and their clones. Alright, so that kind of showcases what an assassin build should be capable of. Going in and just doing as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. I would say every profession has the capacity to make a successful assassin's build. Some are better than others. Engineer right now is really strong with Mechanist. However, there's downfalls to it, right? I'm completely reliant on ranged. So if somebody has any type of reflex or bubbles or anti-projectile, I'm literally having to wait for that to go away before I can do any damage at all. But for now, I'm nice. I love the Choya. That's fantastic. I'm going to swap over to my Holosmith build engineer. And yes, I have 3 engineers, and we'll have 4 once the next expansion comes out, because engineer is my main, and I have each one of them set up for a specific build, so I'm not having to swap builds in game at all, because I find that to be way too much for my simple man brain to handle. Well, let's see, we'll make our way back to the arena. And you'll see on this character, I'm running a different stat set. This is Celestial. So Celestial gives you a little bit of everything. Now, the commonsensical response to that is, well, aren't you not good at anything? And while that's true, the main difference is that Celestial, if built correctly, still does a ton of damage. So I'll showcase that here. So here we have a Celestial engineer on Holosmith running Spear. This is not my build. I took this build from Guild Gen. So if, the basic idea of this, as you can tell, is I have much higher health. My health is now at like almost 24,000, whereas my Mechanist was 17,000, right? I have an armor rating of 2,800. I have a good critical chance skill set. I still do high critical damage. Where you see the big difference is my power is almost 1,000 points lower, but I have condition damage. I have points into healing power. Like, hypothetically speaking, I should be able to do a lot more. And the build itself is focused on... It's actually a modified PvE build. Well, this one is. This one is actually made by Guild Gen, and the entire point of it is to have as much survivability and escapes and stun breaks as possible. And then, if you notice, I'm running the Relic of the Beehive, which does a ton of damage, as well as conditions, which are both statted from Celestial. So, just to showcase it really quick, this is the kind of build where you're going to get engaged with your spear. You're going to go into hollow mode, knock them down, this different skill sets and stuff like that, and then engage the Prime Light Beam to get all those condies and stuff on them. And you see it's doing burning damage, bleeding damage, and all that. I am not good at this build. I will specify that right away. This is... and you'll see... So when she comes back in, give me about 10 seconds here. She'll be able to probably just absolutely destroy me. I have lots of practice on the Mechanist as I enjoy a good Assassin's build. So this isn't an Assassin's build, right? This is great for taking objectives. I can solo towers in this build. Tower Lords and stuff like that. Go ahead whenever you're ready. Alright, so here she's closing in, so I'm going to close in as well. You're making it look like I'm really good at this game, and I'm not. Gonna go in for the stomp. And so that kind of showcases the difference there. Having the higher health pool and stuff is very helpful. Helpfully, I guess that works. Additionally, it means that I don't really have to stress so much about being aware of my terrain and my surroundings. I'm tankier in this setup. So if she comes at me and I don't see her coming, so let's say I'm like focusing on this way. You come on. You give me all you got. And I'm like, what the heck just hit me? But now I don't know where she's at. Good job of escaping. You know, this will happen in World versus World. You'll get jumped from behind, right? And so now I'm at a little bit of a oh gosh, that actually hurt. A disadvantage. Oh, this build is so broken. So yeah, that showcases Celestial. It has a lot more survivability. Even with her getting the initial shots in and hitting me from behind, I was unaware. I was able to come back and make a successful grab there. As for specific builds, I really am a firm believer of trying a little bit of everything out. You can do like I've done with that character, where I'm using a build from a website, and I just kind of took it and said, okay, I'm going to use that. Or on my Mechanist, that's a build I created. I'm not sure it exists outside of me going, how many golems can I have at once? That's why it's a meme build, right? It's not meant to be taken seriously. For this one, I'm going to jump on my Scrapper, and we're going to showcase something a little bit more specialized, I would say. So this was what many would call a Bruiser build. Let's see here. So you can see I have more health than what I had when I was on my Mechanist, but I have less health than what I had when I was on my Celestial build. And because I'm running a mixture of two different builds, I'm running primarily Demolishers, which is power, precision, toughness, ferocity, with Runes of the Trooper, which is more vitality and toughness, alongside some dragons and some berserkers. So it's relatively high power, it's relatively high armor, and it's relatively high health pool. Where this build is not so good is that I don't have any healing power, I don't have any of the other stuff that Celestial provides. This is a great build if you're running with a small group, or if you're really struggling to solo things. So like camps and stuff like that. If you're having a hard time surviving, this build will work in one of two ways. You have a sword and board, so shield and sword approach, or a short bow approach, which the short bow is all about combos and laying down fields, which are pretty powerful. Here, I'll demonstrate that really quick. So if I hit the 3 key, it puts down a dark field. If I hit the 2 key, it does a blast finisher, right? So 4 key is fire, 5 key is blast, right? And hypothetically speaking, in combat, that will do a combo of sorts. But the main point of this build is not actually the weapons. The weapons don't really matter. It's actually right over here, which is these kits. And when I activate kits, I get like a fire field, such like that. So this is a much more survivability based. And you can literally just stand tall while wielding your flamethrower like this and just melting your opponents down. Takes a while, but, you know, it still works. So a Bruiser build is more about survivability without relying on things like healing power and stuff like that. It's about just having enough toughness and stuff like that. So go ahead and come at me. Oh, she's going to try to escape. I see how it is. Ooh, that was good. That burst was excellent.
That was lucky.
That was excellent. Go ahead and down me. Very cool. Oh, man, I never got the waypoint on this character. How funny is that?
Oh.
So I'm going to have to run back. Now, there's downfalls to any build, right? So obviously, while this build is relatively good, it's not as solo strong as like an assassin build would be, or a let me get this waypoint really quick. I don't remember where it's at. I know it's up here somewhere. There it is. There we go.
Everything has a place.
So as you can see, I didn't do as much damage as like my assassin did, or even as the celestial one did. But I have tons of options, right? Lots of range, and so I can engage from a distance and get them kind of off guard. Ooh, nice. See, I'm not nearly as good on the scrapper, but kind of showcase. Sometimes you can fight back when you're in down position. Oh, you can mount up in here?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Very cool. But yeah, so that kind of showcases the three major builds. And as a solo player, there's a couple more out there that exist. So you have like conditions builds. Back before, I would say, Path of Fire, there was additional builds such as like Scrapper was really good at being a tank in World versus World. Like you had so much barrier, so much health, so much toughness, you couldn't really die. You didn't do very much damage, but you would see a ton of commanders running around as like a scrapper because they would survive the initial waves of any full attack and then stuff like that. So the basic point of this video is that you can kind of specialize any way you want, kind of like you do in PvE. And to try and mix and match and find what you're best at. So for me, what I find myself most successful with is assassin builds, mostly because I'm a Twitch player, right? Like I have fast reflex time, reaction times. If a fight gets long and drawn out and I'm having to think about longer strategies, I'm not really prepared for that unless I'm playing on something like my Revenant, which I have only ever done that on. That's what I focus on. I don't do assassin builds with that one. And so it goes to show that what you play is going to heavily dictate, or how you play and what you practice at is going to heavily dictate what you get good at. As a roamer, as a solo player in World versus World, the most important things are going to be to survive, right? And to take small objectives. if playing an assassin build means you're too squishy, you can't survive even taking camps and stuff like that, you'll need to swap it up to something maybe like a celestial build, maybe like a bruiser build, or something that has more survivability, or at least modify that assassin build so that you can get in and out, use your maneuverability, or you can survive. Because it might not seem like you're doing anything, but as a solo roamer, your main job in World versus World is to take small objectives and to scout. And I'll make a whole video on how to scout at some point in time. But this is just a quick little fun video to kind of go over the builds. I figured it would be something different, more so than my usual, just this is what I'm doing in the game. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you helping and demonstrating how bad at this game I am.
No problem.
But we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Stay cool. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.